Drum rolls, please. Let's have those drum rolls coming in. It is 1,500 episodes on the Life Signatures podcast ever since it began somewhere around 2018. This is a milestone. I don't know how to achieve this. I don't know how to celebrate this milestone, but it's okay. Thank you so much for being a part of this podcast every single working day, given that this is a daily show. And on this daily show, we talk about purpose, productivity, and resilience, and anything in between. We cover different types of topics that are necessarily about our own personal growth, our own direction in life, our own motivation, our own inspiration, our discipline, our time management, our planning. All those things geared towards enabling us to be the best versions of ourselves so that we can expand and deploy ourselves to the potential that we have been given in this world. Today, even as we are marking this milestone, we have an opportunity to start yet another series of messages. We will do maybe 5 to 7 episodes, and we'll close this series. In this series, we're going to be talking about apathy, the greatest enemy of purpose pursuit after ignorance. You want to listen to this.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
To be honest with you, I'm so grateful that we are achieving this milestone. I'm achieving this milestone at this moment in time. And honestly, it's just a day at a time. I don't know. It's just a day at a time, and then you wake up and you're like, oh, wait a minute, 1,000 episodes. A day at a time, and then you wake up and you're like, whoa, 1,500 episodes. And I honestly look forward to that time and that moment that we'll be hitting many more milestones. I think my next milestone is 1,510 episodes. God giving us grace and God giving us life. We're going to get there. And hopefully, it's not just about counting the numbers of episodes. It's about the richness and the depth and the passion and the inspiration and the motivation of the content that we are sharing in these episodes. If these episodes are just in any way touching your heart, touching your life, making you reflect, making you think, making you grow, challenging you, inspiring you, motivating you one way or another, you know what that means? It means that you as an individual can be a source of inspiration to other people by actually sharing this. If it makes sense to you, it might make sense to someone else in your circle. So even as we celebrate these 1,500 episodes, my challenge to you is simple. If it's up to you, really, I'm not saying that you must do it. Share this episode with 1,000. Share this episode with 15 people. Just 15 people in your circle, people that you care about. And just say, check this out and see if it's going to make sense to you. And invariably, you have no idea what they're going to pick up out of this. In these episodes, like I said, we talk about purpose, we talk about resilience, we talk about productivity. Those three things are intertwined, they are interlinked. The reason you exist, the reason I exist, it has to be to do with meaning. the reason why we were allowed to be alive in this moment in time is to serve a particular purpose, something greater than ourselves. I know we've got to put food on the table, we've got to put clothes on our backs, we've got to pay our bills and so on, but that's not all there is to life. I do believe that if we can come to the consciousness, come to the level of consciousness where we draw a line in the sand and say, hey, wait a minute, there's got to be something more to life than just paying bills and dying. And then we start looking for it and actively engaging our faculties of the mind, our faculties of the spirit, our faculties of the body, and get determined to find out what is it that I can do other than just paying bills and expiring out of this world. Is there something that I was meant to do that is greater than life? The revelation of our purpose is the one that brings in the increased capacity to fulfill that particular purpose. It is not the other way around. That's why we should not set our goals that when we are 70 we're going to create a foundation. Foundations should be created when we are 13. That's about life. So that we grow with this foundation, because we were born for this. I do believe that if you come to the level where you believe that you're going to have a foundation at some moment in time, that the moment to start that foundation should be years back. It is about, that's the reason as to why you and I are here on the face of the earth. But I'm digressing. We're talking about apathy, the greatest enemy of purpose pursuit after ignorance. Purpose pursuit has very many enemies. And in fact, one of the biggest enemies of purpose pursuit is culture, status quo. My biggest fight, if I was to be told, I was to be asked, Lawrence, what's your biggest fight? What is your enemy? Right? Because every hero, and I do believe everyone who has purpose is a hero. You are a hero of something. A hero is basically a deliverer. Everyone who has purpose is a deliverer. Deliverer of what? It's not necessarily a deliverer of people. Can be a deliverer of situations. Steve Jobs is not a deliverer of people. It's a deliverer of productivity. Okay? Let me not wing this so much. But every person who has purpose is a hero. Every person who has purpose is a deliverer. But before you can get to that hero place, there are various things that are enemies of purpose. Various things that will stop you from knowing what your purpose is. And the first one is status quo. It is what has always been known, what is passed to you. You know how we operate in this world? We don't look at a newborn baby with the idea that this is a different thing, it's a different face of this world. This world is starting a different face. And we need to unearth what this new baby has brought. We do the opposite. We pass on what we have known to this new baby. We don't care how gifted they are unless it's just so special a gift that it just stands out. And those ones are few. They come once in a blue moon. When a kid is just obviously talented, maybe just genius, or just kinesthetically so talented, so gifted, they're able to, play some athletics, and we just see obviously that there's a talent in there. Or maybe there's just this oratory skills that they do have, it's just in there. Or maybe there's just this artistic talent, it's obvious. But for the rest of the children, and mark you, all of these children are heroes, are purpose-filled. They are not useless. They have purpose within them. As long as it's not obvious, what do we do? In fact, by the way, let me just rephrase that. Even with those obvious kids, and I saw something on social media where people were saying that there's this kid. In fact, it wasn't people saying, it was a clip of a highly talented child, seriously talented child with football. And people started saying, oh, you should go to school. And blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, it's obvious already. This is such an obvious indication where this kid is supposed to concentrate on. It's a talent, it's a gift. Work on it. It's obvious already showing. And so the thing that rises up is people in their minds, they think, This kid is supposed to go through the normal. What I went through is what this child is supposed to go through. And therefore, the starter school becomes enemy number one. And I don't think I'm going to talk about ignorance today. So the starter school and the structure that is already been set up, the culture of the day becomes enemy number one to papas. How many of you out there listening to this episode, how many of you out there had their life created or structured around your strengths, around your gifts and your talents? You went to school the same way your friend, your brother, your sister, probably even your parents did. Nothing different, nothing out of the norm, the same. You sat in the same examination, did the same number of years. No novelty around what you're good at, about your strength. No novelty about your purpose. Nothing of note done about your purpose. No wonder many people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 30s, they have no clue what their purpose is. It's not that they don't have a clue already. It's already in there, they sense it, but the consciousness is not there because it's not been farmed up and they're not so sure is this it. And therefore, few people normally think that their purpose can be obvious. Many people normally think that the purpose revelation has got to be something spectacular, like a burning bush experience that Moses had. Or like God opens the heavens and comes and speaks to you in a dream like he did to Joseph in the Bible. Or the ladder of angels ascending and descending like Jacob had in the Bible. Or what Muhammad claims that God gave him a vision, God spoke to him. Few people think that, many people think that that's how purpose is revealed. And the rest of us, what do? We survive. We pay bills. We look for comfort in life. We look to excel. We look to get a job so that we can excel in this particular job, so that we can get promotions, so that we can get cushions in terms of financial cushions, and we don't suffer. In fact, the philosophy now becomes that I should live my life in such a way that I don't suffer. In fact, we've we have done what? We've composed songs around that. Me, I ain't gonna suffer. I don't know. I'm not gonna stay without bread, something like that. Right? Because God is my papi. Lord. See, the idea here is that all of us are deliverers and heroes, and there is purpose within us. Where the consciousness of purpose is not there in society, we have crafted survival as the most enlightened thing to follow. So we elevate people who are quote unquote making it in life. And if you stepped in their shoes, you realize that there is a bit of some kind of emptiness in their lives. Anyway, I am winging this too much. There's just so much to say. But there are some enemies of purpose, and I know I've already talked about the starter school. But the idea in these episodes or in this series is to talk about apathy. But I'm going to get there. We're going to unpack apathy, but it's okay for me to just build a foundation and talk about some other enemies of purpose before we can get there. So let's do this. Tomorrow we continue. Stay tuned and bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.